I first came to the main library the summer after my sixth grade year. I had always got Green Hills was my home branch growing up, and I went there all the time for reports and checking out books. I was a huge reader growing up. Um, but my very first time coming here was after I had watched the movie The Craft with my girlfriends, and we had decided that we were all going to be witches. So my mom was like, "Well, I know where you can find out more about witches. You can go to the main library." And so it's pre-internet times. So we all piled in the car, and my mom dropped us off at the main library. And I very specifically remember coming up to the desk, asking where the books were, and they took us over there. And everyone was so nice and caring, and was really just tickled with the idea of these preteen girls hanging out and looking through these books. And we spent all day here, laying all the books out on the ground and just reading them all day long. And to me, it's a memory I've never forgotten, and it's like really important. So I try to think about that when I see young people in the library today, of how this one visit could be a memory they have for the rest of their life.
I guess not being from here, and I guess if you work in any library that's such a community center in a way, and you're not from that area, I really can't think of a better way to become part of that community and learn about it, especially now that I'm working in the genealogy and research and genealogy and local history department. But yeah, over the years, I guess all the people I've met and the customers I've met that are very Cincinnati people have shown me the best places to go, the best places to go see music. Once I met some people that I ended up playing music with from the library, so that was great. But yeah, I guess now that I think about it, since I am from Kentucky and live in northern Kentucky, if I hadn't started working in this library, I wonder how Cincinnati I would actually be at this point. And I think because of that and the research that I do in the department that I'm in, I think I'm actually pretty Cincinnati at this point, even if I don't live here, and it's pretty much all because of the library. So yeah.
It takes magic to summon a warlock. Magic is old. Magic is wise, permeating inanimate objects such as books, or in this case, an ancient artifact of technology, the telephone. Let me take you back to the antediluvian age of 2008. Having passed the strict requirements for becoming a guardian of knowledge, I set forth from my wizarding school to Multnomah County, deep in the heartland of Portlandia. Many an application scroll I filled out, and many a conjured rejection I received. The road was more treacherous than originally perceived by a young magician. The journey was difficult, with each trial feeling insurmountable. Traversing the strenuous trail of the dismal swamp of job opening websites, getting lost in the valley of unemployment, and finding the courage to summit Mount Recession. But I had a witch friend of mine reach out to me by the oldest means of communication, the telephone. They told me the far-off land of Cincinnati was hiring. So I filled out my application scroll, sent it off, waited, but heard nothing. So the journey continued, and the inns I had previously stayed at turned me away, so I found myself on a stranger's couch, wondering just where I was going to sleep next. And that is when the magic happened. In the morning, the Cincinnati Public Library called me, requesting an archaic phone interview, and I said I could do one better. I am a warlock. And so the very next day, I teleported myself to Cincinnati, interviewed, and got the job.
In Hamilton County and Cincinnati here, the community loves us. It's amazing. You hear some of these scary stories sometimes about, libraries not getting funding or having to shut down, or, all the things that happen out there in the world. And, we're so lucky in this community because, folks support us. They come to us, they trust us. And that trust is such a huge thing. I often say there's times that people come to us with questions that I would never envision asking in the library, but people ask us because they trust and they know that we're going to find out the answer for them, and we do. And that's an amazing thing to be able to provide that service.
I started working here in 2013 as a part-time page, and I worked in the sorting and materials retrieval department, and then I moved to the Popular Library as a library customer advisor. And then from there, I was promoted to a specialist position in the Popular Library. While I was in that department, I started working with the Office of Reentry, and we provided information to people who are incarcerated, who are soon to be released. And it was that work that really got me interested in librarianship and encouraged me to pursue my MLIS, which I did, and I completed that in 2021. After working in the genealogy and local history department, I moved to our outreach services department, where we provide material and services to people who cannot visit the library by traditional means. While I was working in that department, I started pursuing leadership opportunities with the library, and I completed our Tomorrow's Leadership program here with CHPL. And in 2023, I was promoted to the Cheviot Library Manager.
Decorated career.
I get all through them. I think that was all of my jobs.
And Westwood has been great too. My first experience as a branch manager, like I said, a lot of interactions with the kids. So which presents both a really fun atmosphere and also a challenging one. Working with staff, getting everybody on board with how we're handling that situation and making relationships with all these kids. And like I always tell my staff, we're a very tech-heavy branch too. And I think sometimes we take for granted some of the work we do here at the library because it becomes so commonplace. So when things start to get a little frustrating, we always have talks where we remind each other some of the relationships we've built up with the kids and the fact that they come in and, we might be the most positive interaction that they have all day. And the same thing with our people coming in to use the computers. I think we get so used to doing resumes and job application help that then it's done and you go back up to the desk and you're like, all right, knock that out. Not even really taking the time to process like that you just helped somebody apply for a job who was like, trying to make ends meet and do all this stuff. So Westwood has really opened up my eyes to kind of like taking a step back and appreciating everything that we do and trying to not let it get to the point where it just is so commonplace that you don't take time for the small moments and the little victories and all that kind of stuff.
My mom came down to visit me in Cincinnati from Cleveland, and we were walking around OTR, and just like every other person is like, hey, Mr. Librarian, like, what's up, Corey? And she was she was laughing and asking, how do you know all these people? And I was like, just from the library. I mean, I see these people every single day. There's so many people that I see. There's so many people at the library that I see 10, 15, 20, 40 hours a week, that I see more than my friends and family. So these people, I have formed this connection with them. And when I see them outside of work, they say hi, we strike up a conversation, I kind of understand what their lives are like, even if they don't understand what my life is like outside the library. But just seeing people around and about it's nice. It's nice being in downtown or in OTR and like seeing someone and like just being able to say hi. That's a really good feeling.
It's definitely changed me working here. I have to say, partially it's because I started here in my early 20s, and that was a formative period anyway. So to kind of be in this space with a bunch of other smart and, mature, intelligent people, it was so formative. I always felt safe. I always felt like I was around people I wanted to learn from and grow with. And yeah, working at the library has made me so much more like confident and relaxed, and I feel like I can interact with anybody. I feel like, you know, nothing scares me because I can handle any situation. And just, you know, it's interesting too, as unique to being a reference librarian is that you are constantly tasked with finding any piece of information somebody could ask you. Anything from, you know, taxes to philosophy to, you know, everything under the sun. And so now in my own life, when I'm faced with something like, oh, I've never done this before, I've never seen or learned about this before, I'm like, well, you know, pretend a customer asked me, like, I can figure this out. I know how to do this. And so like being equipped with the tools to figure out life, you know, is kind of profound. It's something I didn't realize would be a byproduct of doing this, so.
I'm not trying to be sentimental or cheesy right now. I'm trying to tell this honestly, just the facts. If I can come to work, which is something a lot of people don't enjoy doing, not here, in the world. A lot of people don't want to go to work. If I can come to work because I want to and get into the building just a little bit and go down an elevator like one floor and I'm in the absolute largest collection of books that I've ever seen in my life, and I want to read a lot of them. I don't want to read all of them, but I want to read a lot of them. For me, as a kid in particular, and you know, I am that kid, there's like nothing more amazing in the world that I could ask for. And they're free to check out. Keep them for a long time because I've got a very long backlog of books. And I don't know. Everybody else likes them too. It seems like we sent a lot of books through the sorter. So I think I'm blushing. Am I blushing? It's okay. Okay. I think that's the end of my life story, I think. Yeah.